Welcome everybody to Live Large Universe. We're actually doing a special Christmas edition episode. It's only a couple days away here. Saturday is Christmas. And I've got my good buddy here, Bret Rasmussen. You guys can see him. Give everybody a wave, Bret. Let everybody know you're here.
Hi there.
Awesome. And as we come in here, guys, feel free to share this out. Let us know where you're watching from. Drop it in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. But by the way, let me pop this picture up here and check this out. So everybody, we've got the Live Large Universe logos. We got the shirts. We got the flamingo shirts, the Live Large Universe logo, and of course the Spaceman logo. I'm not showing you here right now, but don't forget, right now is the time to get your orders in, because guess what? If you get your orders in, not only are you going to get an amazing shirt, you are going to also get in to win Mr. Rasmussen. We're going to give away a ride skills day for anybody who's in the last basically 6 months, from August 1st all the way through till the end of December. All the orders that have been coming in for the Live Large Universe logos, and those go to to Erie to help fund the Live Large University Scholarship Program. Bret has been one of our gracious donors who's allowed us to give away a Ride Rasmussen Day. So get your orders in before December 31st, and you're in to win that. Also up for grabs is a Matt Inns Level 1 Erie class, as well as a Mountain Riding Lab Level 1 Erie class. So we're going to give away 3 prizes after the first of the year. So while you guys are coming in here, drop it in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. And for heaven's sakes, let's share this out. Let the world know that we're here tonight. So let me kill the music, and let's go right over to Mr. Bret Rasmussen. How are you today, sir?
I'm just great. It's been a long day. I drove from Island Park this afternoon, and it was a little bit stressful because the snow was coming down, but that just makes me smile bigger. So
I know, right?
Christmas came early for me.
That's perfect. And so, Bret, I would almost feel bad for you if I hadn't left your place in Island Park on Monday morning and it didn't take me 12 and a half hours of four-wheel drive driving to get myself back home. Now, that was a long drive. I think I beat you in that one.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Yep.
Good
That's
for
awesome.
you, though.
That's awesome. So yeah, no, that's actually one of the things we want to talk about tonight is the guide training. I don't know if you have an official name for it yet, but basically all your guides come in every year, and you give them a refresher on a number of different things. And I was able to sit in and attend that last week, which is super exciting. That's awesome. So before we dive into that, though, Bret, just give us a reminder. I mean, everybody knows you obviously, as Bret Rasmussen, Skidoo ambassador. Schooled video series on YouTube. Once Upon a Time, the school DVD series. You live in Idaho, southeast Idaho. But anything else that you want to brag a little bit about? I think I had the honor of seeing a beautiful granddaughter of yours last week too. So tell us maybe a little bit about your family. What do you got going on over there in southeast Idaho?
So you're breaking up on me a little bit there. So,
Okay.
and it's because of my Wi-Fi connection here. I apologize for that. But um, so yeah, I've been around for quite a while, and I really enjoy the snowmobile industry, and I've spent a good share of my career in making a better mountain snowmobile. That's my focus. It's a really niche market, and mountain sledding is I have a great passion for, and so I've done everything from build better sleds to teach people how to ride them to have fun in the snow.
That's awesome. Yeah, your legacy is a long one, and I know literally ever since I began my mountain riding career back in 2007, I've been following what you do from the beginning, and honestly, have been a big influence in my own riding style over the years too. As I've watched the schooled videos in the past, all the new schooled videos on YouTube that you've been making, and as well as being able to attend actually a Ride Rasmussen clinic up in Silly Lake, Montana last February, that I'm going to be attending again this year, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But let's take a little flashback to last week. So I drove in on Wednesday, and Thursday there was different things that happened. You had like kind of a guide update where all the guides were not only like learning but helping present some of the content. We gave a little bit of a refresher on kind of the skills that we're training. So talk to us a little bit about your goal and what you're trying to accomplish with the what the event was on Thursday, and then we'll walk through maybe a couple of things from the rest of the week, including the companion rescue and the wilderness first aid. But what's your goal with the annual refresher for your guides every year?
Well, my goal, John, is to bring my team in. I have some remote guides that work off site, but for those who work on my staff in West Yellowstone and Island Park, as well as the others, we like to bring everybody together and just kind of have a gathering ahead of the season and refresh everybody's memory on procedures and protocols and share ideas and create an environment where when we take our first class out, we're all doing it the same. We're providing the same experience for everybody. And, it's the buck stops with me, right? So I really like to make sure that the guides that are certified under me are doing it the way I would do it if I was there. And so that's kind of what it's all about.
That's awesome. And am I understanding correctly? And part of the reason I was invited as well is, you're starting to, allow different members of the public who have an interest in learning and guiding and maybe have a path in their mind going forward. And you're starting to bring some folks in to kind of help, maybe set some industry standards, if you will. That's kind of the way I perceived it, but I don't want to put words in your mouth of what your intentions are there. But it was a great experience regardless. So what's your view on bringing in a few different folks from your non-traditional group of direct guides?
Well, the goal there is I always have requests from people that want to come work for me or just get into the guiding industry in general and work for an outfitter wherever they might be. And you know what a lot of people don't know when they get into this is there's a lot more involvement than just taking somebody out.
Yeah,
You suddenly have taken on a big responsibility, and so this is somewhat of a guide development program for
that's awesome.
those outside people that are not employees, and it gives them an opportunity to become employees when they complete their training and get all their certificates.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience that I got to go through. And then the day two of it was the companion rescue course, which is a traditional airy companion rescue. It's a 1 day on the snow, practicing rescue equipment, safety equipment, and using it. Anything you want to highlight there briefly before we go maybe a little bit deeper into the wilderness first aid class?
Well, it's just well, let me say this. Avalanche rescue is a perishable skill, right? If you don't practice it, you lose touch with it, and so it's a standard that I'm trying to set within our organization, and hopefully I think that it spreads out throughout the industry. But uh, we dedicate a complete day to um, avalanche rescue training. And even if you've been trained last year and the year before and the year before that, um, we want it to be, we want the technique to be at the front of your mind going into the season because uh, if we ever happen upon a group that gets into an accident and an avalanche situation, we want to be able to help them there. And we're all humans. You never know if somebody makes a bad decision and we end up in that situation. I hope that doesn't happen, but we want to be prepared for anything.
Absolutely, absolutely. Which really, really brings me to the next topic, which honestly was my personal favorite for the week. It was amazing, and so the course was called Wilderness First Aid. And tell me a little bit about the two instructors that you had teaching that course, because I think there's some really, really interesting tidbits about the people who were teaching that course for you at the organization.
So Kevin Allred is has been on my team for quite a few years. First as area instructor, he backs us up as a skills instructor, rider skills instructor when we need him. But he's got extensive experience uh, as a paramedic, and although he's been out of that field for quite a few years, he still has a really good skill set there. And so we um, have, in the last couple of years, have used Kevin to bring our team up to speed with the wilderness first aid training. But this year we wanted to step it up and create an experience where not only our staff, but outside people such as yourself could come in and take a wilderness first aid class. And although we covered every aspect of wilderness first aid, we focused on winter time motorized users.
Yeah,
And we did field training on snowmobiles and set up some really cool situations where everyone was able to participate. And I wanted to make a premier experience, and you'll have to tell me how we did with that.
yeah,
And to finish at your question, the second instructor was Luke Nelson, which is Kevin's son-in-law, and he's a PA by profession, but he really has a passion for outdoor medicine.
yeah.
And so I think you could see his passion when he was acting as your instructor.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it was, just to clarify, it was an amazing course. It was by far, out of everything that we did there that week, it was my favorite item. And it really was neat to be able to, I've heard of wilderness first aid courses before, but I've always had kind of the mindset that they were very just, neutral, kind of a generic, wilderness. And I'm picturing a lot of hikers and climbers and stuff teaching it and giving scenarios, which, I think once you understand that someone can break an arm snowmobiling or hiking or climbing, it's all very transferable. But to have the kind of the real world practice scenarios that were winter motorized use, focused with instructors who are passionate about snowmobiling, I think to me that's what really, it drove a lot of focus in the event because you had everybody's attention from start to finish. And, it was things like, learning how to apply and to utilize and to, do a tourniquet, splints, we learned how to use SAM splints. We learned how to, identify a situation where we may need to call in a helicopter. And if we do, what does the landing zone look like and how do we prepare a landing zone? And so it was 2 full days of training plus a day's worth of homework in advance. So I don't know officially how many hours of the course is, but I know I put probably about almost 24 hours into that thing over, the 3 days. The homework in advance was about 8 hours. Plus I think we had 2 8-hour days live there in person. And it was an amazing experience. And I know right away as we were doing this, there was folks asking, hey, when is another opportunity to do this? And if we have friends that want to join it and all that. And I know you've got a nice announcement here to share with everybody that you've got another event for the wilderness first aid part of the class planned later this season. Tell us about that.
So we haven't established a date yet, and we're still finalizing some details before we make the official announcement. So this is um, a before Christmas present, I guess, if you want to say. But we are going to do a second wilderness first aid class this season. It will come most likely the second half of March. Um, so there will be good weather, there will be great snow, and looking forward to putting that together. But we'll make an official announcement with the date and how to get signed up right after the first of the year.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And frankly, to your point you made earlier about the instructors, both Kevin and his son-in-law Luke, um, I honestly I couldn't have picked two better instructors for that event. The experience I took away from it, what I got away from it, the passion, the compassion, all of those things included to have, just to your point, an elite experience in a wilderness first aid class like that. To me, second to none. Of course, I've got limited experience on my side of attending something like that in the past, but I have done CPR classes and stuff too, and that's part of this. When you do a wilderness first aid, you are actually getting CPR certified for your 2 year CPR slash AED certification, but also then you get the overall wilderness first aid certification also going through that. So anything else you want to just touch on about last week's event and what's going on? And then I think what we'll do next is jump into where it was held, because you got a new location there. We're going to cover that next. But anything you want to cover on last week?
Yeah. So we've been doing this guide instructor school for quite a few years, and this year we stepped it up quite a bit, and we actually brought quite a few new students into it. It's kind of been an evolution in the curriculum, putting it all together. Uh, and next year, I see us adding another day to it. But you'll have the opportunity to take the full 5 day course, or you can be selective. If you don't need the wilderness first aid, perhaps you've got that from another source, you can skip that part of it and just take part in perhaps the rescue training or the instructor training or whatever portion you need. But it's going to be a premier guide development program for anybody that wants to get into this business.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I think there's a couple of things we want to touch on next year is like you're in a new location at a new lodge in Island Park, but I also want to just remind everybody of the structure of your organization, because you actually have a really important partnership with an organization called Three Bears Rentals. Can you give us a little highlight on that?
Yeah, so Three Bear Rental out of West Yellowstone, Montana, is the permit holder for our operation, and they've officially become a provider of Rasmussen style rider skills clinics and all of the other products that we offer. And the United States Forest Service endorses that. In fact, they encouraged us to create this relationship, and so we really appreciate the relationship that we have with Three Bear Rentals. And their Three Bear Rentals might sound familiar, or it may not, but they're affiliated with Three Bear Lodge in West Yellowstone, which is a really old establishment. And most people have probably eaten there if they've ever been to um, West Yellowstone. So.
That's great. That's great. And so then tell us about your new location, because last year you were on the Montana side of the border, and this year you've moved over to Island Park, Idaho, and I had a front row seat inside and out of your new location. And all I can say is, holy smokes, if I were to go to any location anywhere in the West, it had every accommodation I could have imagined. It was an amazing location. So tell us a little bit about your new spot and the partnership there that you have with the new owners of the lodge there.
So what we've got going on, I'll just back up a little bit. We had a facility in West Yellowstone that we basically grew out of, and um, I spent the whole summer looking for a new, bigger, better accommodation for us and our guests, and there there just wasn't anything available in West Yellowstone. And I started looking further out and became acquainted with some folks in Island Park, and they directed me to some other people, and it was a like a friend of a friend of a friend recommendation. But holy smokes, we won at the end, and I wish we could have put it together quicker and got the word out. So it was really last minute, but we have a great facility. I'm going to call it a 4.5 star, John. As soon as we get a hot tub, then it'll go up to a 5 star.
I'm aligned. I'm aligned.
Oh, and I can't leave out our chef. My daughter actually is committed to working with us this season as a chef, and she's done a great job preparing some unique meals for us at dinner time, and we're happy to have her on the team this year now.
Yeah, that's awesome. I actually got to experience that firsthand as well, and I think I probably gained 5 pounds while I was there last week, in spite of all the hard work you put me through. Cheyenne, your daughter, again, she's done some culinary training in the past, and she's putting it to good use there. And so, anybody who attends is going to get the pleasant surprise of some amazing. So I got to say, we had pot pie, we had meatloaf, we had lasagna, there was a number of things we had throughout the week. And if anybody gets a chance to have some of her meatloaf, which I understand is a secret recipe of her brother, your son, has got a meatloaf recipe
Yeah.
that's to die for. By far the best meatloaf I've ever had in my entire life. Part of the Ride Rasmussen experience now.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll probably for sure have that on the menu at least once a week, if not more often, huh?
Yep, it was amazing. So Bret, the cool part about Ride Rasmussen style is, like you said earlier, you've kind of outgrown the one facility, but a lot of people don't realize that you can actually attend Ride Rasmussen style clinics not only in the West Yellowstone Island Park area, but there's other locations as well. So let's bump into, I'll just kind of call them out here quick, then we'll go to one or the other, and you can tell me about them. Down in Wyoming, we have 3C Guiding, Cameron Comenti, who is your guide down there. So we'll talk about him first, and then we're going to go to Sealy Lake next. But tell us about the Wyoming operation, what Cameron has going on down there.
So Cameron, I've been associated with Cameron for quite a few years, and he's got his own guide business established. He works out of the Snowies quite a bit, and also out of Togedy. And so he has a passion for helping people with rider skills. And so a number of years ago, we got together and started talking about, him being able to provide a Ride Rasmussen style experience with his operation. And it took, honestly, a few years to kind of massage the program and make it work. But now we have a program that's advanced and in final stages, and he does a really good job. He doesn't provide Rasmussen clinics on a daily basis, but he calendars specific times that you can sign up and join a group or bring your own group if you want. And so if you're from further east and don't want to come all the way to West Yellowstone, you can stop in the Snowies and hook up with Cameron, and it's a great opportunity for everyone that would like to do that.
That's fantastic. And then, of course, we have the Rich Ranch and Carl and Shannon up there at the Rich Ranch in Sealy Lake, Montana. Tell us a little bit about that operation, and then after you're done, what I'll do is I'll elaborate a little bit about the event that I've attended, the Driven event that's up in that location, also part of your organization. But tell us a little bit about the Sealy Lake location and what goes on up there on a regular basis.
So, yeah. So in Sealy Lake, there's the Rich Ranch. Shannon is a daughter of the owner of Rich Ranch, and then her husband Carl owns a snowmobile shop in town there called Crazies, and they do rental stuff. And so it's actually Crazies that does the Ride Rasmussen style
Okay.
experience, but they host it at Rich Ranch, so it's a combination. And
Yeah.
so you can you stay at Rich Ranch, you ride from the ranch, and it's Crazies through Carl and Shannon that host the clinic, and they provide a top notch experience as well.
Yeah, I can again vouch for that. That was my very first experience with an official Ride Rasmussen riding clinic with the guides that came up. We had a number of the guides come up. I think Cameron came up, Clyde came up, Craig Olhauser out of North Dakota, Ride 701, has also been this last year or two part of your organization, and he's continued to train to become a guide for you. He was at the event last year. I believe he's planning on being at the event again this year. I don't know if I missed anybody else. If I did, feel free to call me out for it. But a great organization, and what Carrie Vammer does, who actually does a lot of your back end operations and kind of helps with bookings and all those type of things. She's put together this Driven event where we've got Ride Rasmussen style, we got level 1 avalanche training. This year they're bringing in some additional stuff from the altitude sickness guys. It's a safer course, similar to like a mini version of like a wilderness first aid class almost. But it's again this total package experience where you show up, food and lodging and the clinics and everything are all included for one fixed price. And what I can tell you is both what I experienced last week at your location as well as what I experienced last year in Sealy Lake at the Driven event. and what I anticipate is going to happen all over again at the Driven event this year in February, is it's all about the family. Like Bret, that's the thing that resonates with me, and that I think if anybody takes anything away about Ride Rasmussen and the clinics, whether you do a 1 day clinic or if you go for a whole week, you become part of the Ride Rasmussen family, right? Even as an attendee of these events, because just the personalities. Like I can tell you, like I've gotten to know very personally all of your guides, your back end, your daughter, they're working for you. I've gotten to know you, Bret, and it's just a very welcoming, wholesome experience that just draws me to want to go back over and over again. And so, not only will you learn some amazing things, but you're also going to get to know some amazing people along the way as well. And so, how do you create this family atmosphere? What's that all about? How do you do that? So,
That's a great question, John. I have to go back to my dealership days, and my wife and I together ran an Arctic Cat dealership in the small Preston in the small community of Preston, Idaho, and we actually ran a rather large dealership for the population there, and it's because we our clients, our guests came from far and wide to buy sleds and do business with us, and it's all about relationships. You have to create relationships, and we had really strong and close relationships with all of our customers. And when I got out of the dealership business in 2006, I continued that philosophy, and I think there's a lot of success that's come from that. It sounds like you're seeing that. So
absolutely, absolutely. Look at that. You got a little helper in the background there.
holy smokes, come here, Pi, come and say hi. She's being bashful tonight.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Is that the same little girl that was running around the compound last week? Yep.
That's right. That's the
Yeah.
one.
The
She kind of is in charge of things.
Yeah, I noticed she pretty much ran the place there when I was there last week, and the most adorable, sweethearted little girl as well too. So you're a blessed man, Bret. I know you already know that, but I want to call that out loud. And the final thing we need to talk about here before we're done is you've got this history of traveling to Russia and not only teaching all of us crazy Americans how to ride, but you've also had the opportunity to kind of teach some of the Russian population how to ride their skidoo snowmobiles and how to, as I say, live large, live their best life over there as they start learning the ropes there. So tell us about what you have planned this season for your Russia trip.
So my I have a Russian speaking instructor who I should name is Nate Smoot, and
Yep,
he was at our operation there in Island Park. You met him.
I did.
Um, he's been with me probably as one of my oldest guides, to be truthful, longest, most senior guide anyway, and. He will travel. He's always been traveling with me to Russia. We've been going over there for 7 years now. We've created a huge clientele in Russia, and we really have a great time going over there. But aside from teaching Russians how to ride, because of our experiences and the uniqueness of the area and the terrain, we decided to put a trip together and ask some riders from North America to join us on an excursion, and it was originally scheduled for May 2 years ago, and because of COVID, it kind of shut us down. Borders were closed; we couldn't travel. Unfortunately, we had to push it out. So the trip has been rescheduled now for May 1, 22. And most of the original guests that signed up for that are going to be traveling with me this year. I guess we can't really predict what the COVID outcome is going to be, but for now the trip's on, and I'm looking forward to taking this group over there. It's in the far east of Russia on the Kamchatka Peninsula, and there's volcanoes with steam spouts that we'll be riding to, and hot water opportunities to go swimming in crater lakes at the top of the volcanoes. And besides that, we're going to load the snowmobiles on a ship and sail to some islands south of the peninsula and that have never been explored by snowmobile before. So, um, yeah, I hope COVID doesn't do its dirty deed and shut us down. But we're all
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's the world we live in now. Is you don't know what's coming tomorrow sometimes, and again, that's kind of this philosophy that I live by, Brett. Is live life to the fullest, right? It's like live large. It's live life to the fullest, make the most of every day, and of course, make a difference to others. And again, as I continue to talk about live large, it basically is synonymous with Ride Rasmussen style, right? It's you guys absolutely live your best lives, and we're making a difference to people every day out there, and I would just call out it's actually not only just from the skills training side, but really very compassionately from the safety side, right? Like as you're out there riding, the professionalism, the safety that's ingrained into the organization with the guides, what's taught to the riders. Even, I'll even give you a shout out for respect of the idea of, there's a time and a place to do the crazy stuff and to go wild, and there's time and place to everybody fall in line, be part of a team, and make sure everybody gets through that section safely, right? And I got to witness that firsthand last week, and a lot of respect to everybody involved in your organization. And I'm so honored to have been able to attend that last week and to continue to build this strong relationship that I have with your organization. So anything else, Brett, before we wrap this up? Otherwise I think we can give these guys a shout out. Thank you for watching, and any other final words?
I think that's about it. I appreciate your attendance, and I I'm I'm grateful for you to help me to get this word out. I'm kind of excited to build this guide instructor development program even further, and uh, just have fun on the snow. Don't lose track of that. The only reason we have snowmobiles is to have fun, and so let's do that and be safe while we're at it.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, Brett, you have an amazing night. Everybody who's watching, if you haven't yet, please, please, please share this out. Let's continue to get the message out of Live Large Universe, everything we do here, as well as what's going on over at the Ride Rasmussen schools, both everywhere from Sealy Lake to Wyoming to Island Park, Idaho, really across the West. You guys have got it covered from start to finish. And as I tell everybody as we wrap these up is God bless you and live large. Have an amazing night.
Good night.